Hey, do you like little kittens? You're gonna love this little story. It's a story about Butterball. Listen carefully. Mother, look, 10-year-old Judy Jones called. Isn't it the cutest thing you have ever seen? May I have it for my very own? Her big blue eyes were pleading as she watched the little yellow ball of fur sit up playfully. But Judy, her mother objected, you already have two white rabbits, a dog, and three ducks, besides all the farm animals. Surely you have enough pets for any girl. But, Mother, it's so sweet. Look at its soft fur and big blue eyes. See, it already likes me. Listen to it purr. Besides, little Ann could play with it, and she can't very well play with the dog. He's too rough for her. Please, Mother. Little Ann was only 3. Just then little Ann came around the corner of the house and spied the kitten. Ann wants kitty. See, Ann? Isn't it a nice kitty? Judy encouraged. Stroke its head. Hold it gently. Look, Mother, Ann wants it too. Don't you, Ann? Ann wants kitty, Mommy, she said, stroking the soft fur with her little fat hand. Well, I guess you may keep it, Miss Jones said. You'll have to get a dish for it. Meanwhile, why not use the red bowl you cracked yesterday? It will last a few times. Better give it some milk now. It's probably hungry. But don't count too much on keeping it. It's such a nice kitten and probably belongs to some of the neighbors. If so, they will be looking for it soon. Oh, I do hope we can keep it always. That is, if it doesn't belong to someone else. And you hold the kitty while I get it some milk. The new little pet was hungry all right, and when Judy brought a bowl of milk, it was lapped up in a hurry. Then, of course, it licked its paws and washed its face. Be careful, Ann, that you don't squeeze it too tight. I know you want to love it, but be careful, or it might scratch you. It began to look as though 2 little girls had found something they would both love and enjoy. It will belong to both of us, Ann, said Judy. Oh, say, let's give it a name. What shall we call it? Let's choose a name that fits it just right. Mother, what shall we call it? Judy called as Mother came to the door. Well, it's as yellow as butter. And look, it's full of milk now and wants to lie down. See, it curls up just like a ball. Butterball, said Ann, patting it on the head as it curled up asleep at her feet. Butterball, that's it, Mother. Why don't we call it Butterball? Why, I think that would be a good name for it. It certainly fits all right. Butterball, said Julie softly. Yes, that's a good name for it. I knew we were going to be friends for a long time, aren't we, Butterball? Spring came, and its warmth, its flowers, and singing birds, and by midsummer, Butterball was half grown. Butterball stayed close beside her playmates. Seemed like she really did like to be played with, especially by little Ann. Wherever Ann was, there you would usually find Butterball too. And what a real friend Butterball turned out to be, as you will soon see. One day, Ann was playing in the sand pile with her bucket and spade. It was warm, and Ann was beginning to get sleepy. She had decided to find a cool place under a big tree when she heard Judy calling her. "Come, Ann, it's time for your nap." "No, don't run the other way. You must come in now. Hurry." Little Ann turned at Judy's voice and slowly started toward the house. She had gone but a few steps when she heard a whirring sound, and she stopped quickly. Staring at the long brown spotted rattlesnake in the path. Ann had never seen a snake, but somehow, when it began to puff itself up and stick out its darted tongue, she knew it was something to be afraid of. Her big blue eyes filled with horror, and her rosy cheeks turned very pale. She took a quick breath, then burst into tears. Down went the sand pail, and two chubby cheeks covered her face. The sudden movement of the pail being thrown close to the snake enraged it, and it immediately began to coil itself, ready to strike. Meanwhile, at the first sign of fear from Ann, Judy began to run toward her, and as she ran, she caught sight of the snake. She screamed as she ran faster, trying to get to little Ann in time. "Help! Oh, help, Jesus! Help!" she cried, realizing that she could not reach Ann before the snake would strike. But before she could cover the remaining distance between Ann and herself, Butterball sprang between Ann and the snake. Butterball was raising her back and spitting with all the fury her little form could muster. The sharp fangs sank into the brave kitten's head just as Judy snatched Ann's small body away. Mr. Jones was working on his tractor. Attracted by the children's cries, he left his tractor and ran. He ran towards them, sensing that something terrible was happening. Mrs. Jones met the children as they came running to the porch. Between hysterical sobs, they told their mother what had happened. Meanwhile, Mr. Jones, taking the situation in at a glance, ran for the hoe and killed the snake. But he was too late to help the brave little kitten. Judy tried to control her tears as she told the story, but when she told her mother about Butterball's brave deed, she could go no further. Little Ann's tears flowed freely as she said over and over, "Butterball died for me! Butterball died for me!" Mrs. Jones led the two children inside and soon had Ann asleep. Then she talked to Judy about love, loyalty, and sacrifice in the face of danger. "Butterball was a true friend, wasn't he, Mother? He gave his life for Ann's sake. It's just awful to think what would have happened to Ann if it hadn't been for Butterball. Do you suppose it hurt her much when the snake bit her?" "Well, I imagine so, dear, but we must be thankful that she gave her life for Ann," Mother continued. "Doesn't it remind you of Jesus, who, because he loved us, gave his life for us?" What Butterball did is a good picture of what Jesus did for us. He took our place on the cross of Calvary that we might have life. You know, Judy, I've been waiting for the right time to tell Ann about Jesus and what he did for her, and I believe this will give me just the right opening. When she wakes up, suppose we tell her just what we have been talking about. I'm sure she will have some questions to ask about Butterball, and we can show her that it was because Butterball loved her that she so bravely gave her life for her. That will give us an opportunity to tell her very simply that there was one who gave his life that she might have her sins forgiven and go to heaven someday. I feel awfully sad about Butterball, Mother, but when you remind me of all Jesus did for me, I feel sad that I haven't loved and pleased him more. To think that because of me, Jesus had to give his life. I'm awfully glad that I received him as my Savior 4 years ago. He becomes more wonderful to me every day, and today I'm so glad I'm saved. Won't it be wonderful when Ann asks Jesus to come into her heart and save her? And that's how it was that 3-year-old Ann came to hear the gospel so young and was later saved. Butterball surely didn't die in vain, did she?